How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Monday, April 18th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today in the world of sports as we navigate through it one day at a time. Looking at where we are in the year, we are still in the first round of the NBA playoffs as there are 16 teams that are left to compete for the 2022 title. And staying within America, the NHL season is coming to a close as the Stanley Cup playoffs will start at the end of the month. In baseball, the MLB season is underway as the NFL draft is coming at the end of the month or the beginning of next month. I forget which one. Not to mention that looking at what's going on with soccer overseas, there's about a month left in European schedules as those seasons are coming very quickly to an end. Not to mention that we are entering quite another week of very intense soccer moving forward. With that said, taking a look at what happened in the NBA, there were three first round matchups that happened yesterday, all game two. Starting off in Philadelphia, the 4 seed in the East, Philadelphia 76ers would host the 5 seed Toronto Raptors. The Sixers would win this game 112-97 as they would outscore the Raptors by 16 in the second quarter, by 9 in the third. They outscored the Sixers by 25 in the middle two quarters combined. On the losing end of this matchup, the 5 seed Raptors were led in scoring by their starting small forward out of Indiana, OG Anunoby. He finished with 26 points in 38 minutes. He shot 10 for 14 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and he made both of his free throws on the night. The Raptors starting power forward, Pascal Siakam, finished with 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in 41 minutes. He shot 7 for 20 from the field and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Their all-star starting shooting guard, Fred VanVleet, out of Wichita State, finished with 20 points, 7 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and 4 rebounds in 44 minutes. Fred VanVleet shot 7 for 23 from the field, 5 for 16 from 3, and he made one of his 2 free throws. Off the bench, their power forward, Chris Boucher, finished with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 30 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Philadelphia 76ers were led in scoring by their elite starting center, the NBA's scoring leader from the 2021-22 season, Joel Embiid. Their elite starting center out of Kansas finished with 31 points and 11 rebounds in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 16 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and 12 for 14 from the free throw line. Their starting point guard, Tyrese Maxey, finished with 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists in 41 minutes. He shot 8 for 11 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and he made all 4 of his free throws. Their starting power forward, Tobias Harris, finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds alongside 3 blocks in 39 minutes. He shot 7 for 11 from the field. He made all 3 of his threes, and he shot 3 for 4 from the free throw line. Their elite starting shooting guard, James Harden, finished with 14 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and 5 turnovers. James Harden played 41 minutes. He shot 3 for 9 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. And then the Sixers starting small forward in this game, Danny Green, out of UNC, will go on to finish with 11 points in 38 minutes, as he also had 2 blocks. With this win, the 4 seed Philadelphia 76ers now lead this series 2-0 over the 5 seed Toronto Raptors. The Raptors still need to win 4 games from here to the end if they want to advance to the second round. Sixers are 2 wins away. Game 3 will be in Toronto tomorrow on NBA TV. So that's what that series is looking like. Taking a look at what happened in Dallas, the Western Conference's 4 seed Dallas Mavericks would host the 5 seed Utah Jazz. And coming into this matchup, the Jazz had led the series 1-0. In this game, the Mavericks would tie the series up at 1 after beating the Jazz 110-104. They would win this game by 6 after they had to outscore the Jazz by 10 in the fourth quarter to overcome their 4-point deficit coming in. They had to outscore the Jazz by 13 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 5 seed Jazz were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard out of Louisville, Donovan Mitchell. He finished with 34 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists in 41 minutes. He shot 13 for 30 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3. and he made all 5 of his free throws. Their starting small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic, finished with 25 points and 5 rebounds in 40 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Their point guard off the bench and former Sixth Man of the Year, Jordan Clarkson, finished with 21 points in 23 minutes. He shot 8 for 11 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and he made both of his free throws. Their starting power forward, Royce O'Neal, would finish with 12 points and 9 rebounds in 37 minutes. Their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert, would finish with 8 points, 17 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 2 for 5 from the field, and he would shoot 4 for 6 from the free throw line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Dallas Mavericks were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Villanova, Jalen Brunson. Brunson finished with 41 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 42 minutes. He shot 15 for 25 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, and 5 for 7 from the free throw line. Their power forward off the bench, Maxi Kleber, finished with 25 points and 6 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 8 for 11 from the field as all of his attempts came from 3. He was 8 for 11 from 3, and he made 1 of his 2 free throw attempts on the night. Their starting guard, Spencer Dinwiddie, finished with 17 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 40 minutes. Their small forward, Reggie Bullock, finished with 11 points in 45 minutes. With this win, the Dallas Mavericks have tied the series up at 1. They have, of course, forced a Game 5, as both of these teams still need to win 3 games to make it on to the second round. Games 3 and 4 will be in Salt Lake City. Game 3 will be on Thursday, the 21st. That game will be on NBA TV. Many going to be looking forward to that. And then, of course, taking a look into yesterday's third NBA playoff game out of 3. The 3 seed from the Western Conference, Golden State Warriors, would go on to host the 6 seed Denver Nuggets. This, of course, coming after the Warriors were able to pick up the first win of this series. They won it by 16. In this particular matchup, the Warriors would go on to win it 126-106. They won it by 20 after they outscored the Nuggets by 14 points in the third quarter, by 21 points in the middle 2 quarters, after the Nuggets took a 1-point lead after the first. On the losing end of this matchup, the 6 seed Nuggets were led in scoring by last year's NBA MVP, Nikola Jokic. Jokic finished with 26 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks in 28 minutes. He shot 9 for 20 from the field, and he made all 8 of his free throws. Their starting small forward, Will Barton, finished with 12 points and 10 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 5 for 15 from the field and 2 for 4 from 3. Their starting point guard, Monte Morris, finished with 12 points in 25 minutes. Their point guard off the bench, Bones Highland, finished with 12 points in 17 minutes. Their shooting guard off the bench, Bryn Forbes, had 10 points in 24 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the 3rd seed Warriors were led in scoring by their goated starting point guard off the bench, Stephen Curry. The NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made he would finish with 34 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists in 23 minutes. He shot 12 for 17 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and he shot 5 for 7 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard, Jordan Poole, finished with 29 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in 34 minutes. He shot 10 for 16 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and he made all 4 of his free throws. Their elite starting shooting guard, Klay Thompson, finished with 21 points and 2 rebounds in 36 minutes. He shot 9 for 19 from the field, and he shot 3 for 8 from 3. Their all-star starting small forward, Andrew Wiggins, finished with 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists in 31 minutes. He shot 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and 1 for 3 from the foul line. Their all-star power forward off the bench, Nemanja Bjelica, would finish with 10 points in 16 minutes. Their all-star power forward and future Hall of Famer, Draymond Green, will go on to finish with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals in 30 minutes. Draymond shot 2 for 5 from the field and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. With this win, the Golden State Warriors are now 53-29. That is I'm sorry, they are now holding a 2-0 series lead in that in this first round. They are 2 wins away from making it onto the second round, as the Nuggets still need to win 4 of the next 5 games in order to make it through. Games 3 and 4 will be played in Denver. Game 3 will be played on Thursday the 21st. That game will be on TNT, as the Warriors were able to take the first 2 games of the series. But that is what the NBA is looking like as we get into today. Today is going to be another conglomeration of game 2s in the very first round. Starting at 7:30 on TNT in FTX Arena, the Eastern Conference number 1 seed Miami Heat are going to host the 5 seed Atlanta Hawks. This coming after the Heat were able to beat the Hawks by 24 in game 1. So, of course, that's going to be a lot of pressure on that. A win here would put the Heat 2 wins away from making it into the second round. At 8:30 on NBA TV in FedEx Forum in Memphis, the Western Conference 2 seed Memphis Grizzlies are going to host the 7 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. As within this matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves hold a 1-0 series lead after beating the Grizzlies by 13 in game 1. And then, of course, taking a look at what's going on right after that at 10 o'clock in the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, the 1 seed from the Western Conference the Phoenix Suns are going to host the New Orleans Pelicans, who made it through the play-in as the 8 seed. The Suns are going into this matchup leading a 1-0 series lead after beating. They're holding a 1-0 series lead after beating the Pelicans by 11 in the very first game. But that is what's going on today, as we are going to be 1 game closer to a lot of these teams clinching the next round. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB in baseball, starting off in Boston, the Red Sox would go on to host the Minnesota Twins. The Twins would end up beating the Red Sox 8-3. They would actually not give the Red Sox a chance to take the lead, as a couple of home runs early on would give them the advantage. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Boston Red Sox were led out by their starting pitcher, Rich Hill. Hill allowed 4 earned runs off of 6 hits in 4.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 2 before he picked up his first loss of the season. With this loss, he's 0-1. Their elite shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, went 3 for 5 with an RBI. Their left fielder, Alex Verdugo, went 2 for 3 with a run. Their catcher, Christian Vasquez, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He would go on to hit his very first home run of the season for Boston. In the Twins lineup, with this win, they were led out by their starting pitcher, Dylan Bundy. Bundy would allow 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the 5.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters, and with this win, he's now 2-0. In the Twins batting lineup, their second baseman, Jorge Polanco, would end up going 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run. He hit his second home run of the year. Their shortstop, Carlos Correa, the reigning Platinum Glover, would finish 2 for 4 with a run. Their third baseman, Gio Urshela, went 3 for 5. And with this win, the Minnesota Twins are now 4-6. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central, as they now sit 2.5 games behind the division-leading Chicago White Sox. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are 5-5. They are tied with the New York Yankees for the 2nd best record in the American League East. They sit a full game behind the division-leading Toronto Blue Jays. Taking a look at what happened in Chicago, the Cubs would host the Tampa Bay Rays. The Cubs beat Tampa 4-2. After Tampa would tie it up at 2 in the 5th, the Cubs would take the lead right back with an Ian Happ single in the bottom of the 7th, and a Frank Schwindel home run in the 8th would, of course, be the cherry on top. On the losing end of this matchup, the Rays were led out by their starting pitcher, Shane McClanahan. McClanahan would allow 2 runs off of 4 hits that he allowed in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 9 batters in that span. The loss would go to the Rays' first relief pitcher on the day, Jason Adam. Adam would allow 1 earned run, as he only allowed 1 out. He would get pulled in the 7th inning, as he would strike out 1 batter. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Rays batting lineup, their designated hitter, Josh Lowe, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their third baseman, Yandy Diaz, would end up going 2 for 4 on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Chicago Cubs were led out by their starting pitcher, Kyle Hendricks. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4.1 innings he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters and walk 2. The win would go to the Cubs' setup relief pitcher and their only mid-relief pitcher between their starter and their closer, as this pitcher today was Keegan Thompson. Keegan Thompson would allow no earned runs off of one hit. He would go on to finish the 5th and go all the way through the 8th, as he would strike out 5 batters in that span, only allowing 1 hit. With this win, he's now 2-0. The save would end up going to the Cubs closer, David Robertson. Robertson would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This is his 4th save of the year. In the Cubs batting lineup, their second baseman, Nick Madrigal, will go 2 for 4. Their right fielder, Seiya Suzuki, would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are 6-4. Record-wise, that is the second best record in the National League Central, as they have now won their last 2 games. They have 1 more win and 1 more loss than the Cardinals, so they're sitting even with them. They sit half a game ahead of the third place Milwaukee Brewers in the division. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 5-6. They have now lost 5 of their last 10 games. And taking a look, or they've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Toronto Blue Jays. Taking a look at what happened in Milwaukee, the Brewers would host the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Brewers would win it 6-1 after scoring 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th after the Pirates would tie the game. It would, of course, the biggest play of the game would be a grand slam from Christian Yelich to, of course, make their lead so big. On the losing end of this matchup, the Pittsburgh Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson allowed 6 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 4, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Pirates batting lineup, their designated hitter, Daniel Vogelbach, would go 2 for 3. Their second baseman in this matchup, Diego Castillo, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Milwaukee Brewers were led out by their starting pitcher, Eric Lauer. Lauer allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5 and walk 1. With this win, he's now 1-0. In the Brewers batting lineup, their elite left fielder, Christian Yelich, would go 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs and a run, as the former MVP would hit his very first home run of the season. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 6-5. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They have now won their last 2 games. They've won 6 of their last 10. They are sitting half a game behind the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs, sitting on top of the division. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 5-5. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central, as they are currently sitting a full game behind the St. Louis Cardinals and Chicago Cubs on top of the division. Taking a look at what happened out in Houston, the reigning American League champs, Astros, would host the Los Angeles Angels. The Astros would win it 8-3. They would, as the Angels would tie the game at 2, the Astros would, of course, take that lead from a Jeremy Pena walk in the bottom of the 4th. And after another player was hit by a pitch, the Angels would not be able to match the Astros in runs. On the losing end of this matchup, the Angels were led out by their starting pitcher, Michael Lorenzen. Lorenzen would allow 4 earned runs off of the 4 hits he allowed in 3.1 innings. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 2 before getting pulled in the 4th inning, as he would also pick up the loss for LA. With this loss, Lorenzen is 1-1. In the Angels batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their catcher, Max Stassi, would end up going 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run, as he would go on to hit his 2nd home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Houston Astros were led out by their starting pitcher, Luis Garcia. Garcia allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in 5.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and walk 1 before getting pulled in the 6th inning. With this win, he's 1-0. In the Astros batting lineup, their left fielder, Michael Brantley, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their elite third baseman, Alex Bregman, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez, would go 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs, as he would go on to hit his 2nd and 3rd home runs of the season. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 6-4. That is the best record in the American League West. They are currently sitting half a game ahead of the Los Angeles Angels and Oakland Athletics, tied for 2nd in the division. And with this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are 6-5. They are tied with the Oakland Athletics for the 2nd best record in the American League West. They've lost 4 of their last 10 as they are currently sitting half a game behind the division-leading Houston Astros. Taking a look at what happened in Denver, the Colorado Rockies hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Rockies would end up beating the Phillies 4-1, scoring all of their runs in the 6th and 7th inning. And on the losing end of this matchup, the Philadelphia Phillies were led out by their starting pitcher, Aaron Nola. Nola would allow 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5.1 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 1. With this loss, Aaron Nola is 1-2. In the Phillies batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that would be attributed to great pitching from Colorado. The win would go to Chad Kuhl. Kuhl allowed no earned runs and only 2 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 on the day, and with this win, he's now 1-0. The save for Colorado would go to their closer, Alex Colome. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning. This will be his first save of the year. In the Rockies batting lineup, their first baseman, C.J. Cron, went 2 for 4 with a run. And then their left fielder in this matchup, Sam Hilliard, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are 7-3. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've won 7 of their last 10. They are currently sitting a full game behind the division-leading Los Angeles Dodgers. And with this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are 4-7. They are tied with the Washington Nationals for the worst record in the National League East. The Phillies have now lost their last 2 games. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They are currently trailing the division-leading New York Mets by 3.5 games. Taking a look at what's happening in Oakland, the Athletics hosted the Baltimore Orioles. The A's would end up beating the Orioles 5-1. After the Orioles tied the game at 1 in the 5th, the A's would end up scoring 4 runs in the 6th inning to run away with their 6th win. On the losing end of this matchup, the Baltimore Orioles were led out by their starting pitcher, Spencer Watkins. Spencer Watkins would allow 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched as he struck out a batter and walked 2. The loss would go to the Orioles' first relief pitcher, Joey Krehbiel. He would allow 3 runs off of 1 hit in .2 innings. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 1 before getting pulled in the 6th inning, and with this loss, he's 1-1. In the Orioles batting lineup, their third baseman, Ramon Urias, would go 2 for 4, and then their right fielder, Austin Hayes, would end up going 2 for 4 with the team's lone RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Oakland Athletics, the home team, were led out by their starting pitcher, Frankie Montas. Montas allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 2. With this win, he's now 2-1. In the A's batting lineup, their second baseman, Sheldon Neuse, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are 6-5. They are tied with the Los Angeles Angels for the 2nd best record in the American League West. They are sitting half a game behind the division-leading Houston Astros at the moment as they've won 6 of their last 10. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 3-7. That is the worst record in the American League West. They are currently trailing the division-leading Toronto Blue Jays by 3 whole games at the moment. Taking a look at what happened in San Diego, the San Diego Padres would host the Cincinnati Reds. The Padres would beat the Reds 4-1 to, of course, extend their winning streak to 2 and to extend the Reds' losing streak to 7. The Padres would score all 4 of their runs after the Reds scored the first run of the game in the top of the 1st inning. On the losing end of this matchup, the Cincinnati Reds were led out by their starting pitcher, Nick Lodolo. Lodolo would allow 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 8 batters and walked 2. With this loss, he's now 0-2. In the Reds batting lineup, their left fielder, Tommy Pham, would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his first home run of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown San Diego Padres were led out by their starting pitcher, Sean Manaea. Manaea would allow 1 earned run off of 6 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters and walk 2. With his win, he's 2-1 on the year. The save for the Padres would go to their closer, Taylor Rogers. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th as he walked a batter. This will be his 5th save of the year. In the Padres batting lineup, their designated hitter Austin Nola went 2 for 4 with a run. Their elite third baseman Manny Machado went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his second home run of the year. With this win, the San Diego Padres are now 7-5. That is the fourth best record in the National League West. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. The Padres are now sitting 2 full games behind the division leading Los Angeles Dodgers. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are 2-9. That is the worst record in the National League Central. That is the worst record in the National League, and that's the worst record in all of baseball right now. Their 7-game losing streak is also the longest active losing streak in baseball. They've lost 9 of their last 10. They are sitting 4.5 games behind both the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs at the moment. Last but not least, jumping out to Los Angeles, the Dodgers would host the Atlanta Braves and extend the MLB's longest win streak to 7. The Dodgers won it 7-4 as Freddie Freeman would be able to hit a home run against his former team. I'll get into that in a second. The Dodgers would score 6 runs in the first 4 innings before the Braves would score at all, not giving the Braves a single chance to take that lead. On the losing end of this matchup, the defending champs Atlanta Braves were led out by their starting pitcher Huascar Ynoa. Ynoa would allow 5 earned runs off of 4 hits and 3.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 4. And with this loss, he's 0-2. In the Braves batting lineup, their first baseman, Matt Olson, would go 3 for 4 with a run. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, would go 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he would hit his 5th home run of the season. Their third baseman, Austin Riley, would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, went 2 for 4 with an RBI as well. And then on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Dodgers were led out by their goated starting pitcher, Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw would allow 4 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 7 batters in that span as he did not walk a single one. With this win, Clayton Kershaw is 2-0 on the season. The save would end up going to their elite closer, who initially got his career started on the Braves, Craig Kimbrell. Kimbrell would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his 3rd save of the year. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite first baseman and former Atlanta Brave, as in he won the championship with them last year, Freddie Freeman, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his very first home run of the season against the Braves. Their elite starting center fielder and former MVP, Cody Bellinger, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Bellinger hit his 2nd home run of the year. With this win, the LA Dodgers are now 8-2. That is the best record in the National League West as they've now won their last 7 games. That is the longest active winning streak in the MLB by a bit, as they are sitting half a game ahead of the 2nd place San Francisco Giants within their own division. And with this loss, the defending champs Atlanta Braves are now 5-7. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East as they've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They are trailing the division leading New York Mets by 3 games in the division. So that's what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Taking a look at what's going on today, there are going to be a couple of doubleheaders as the first one's going to be taking place in Washington, D.C., as the Washington Nationals are going to host the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the first matchup, Josiah Gray is going to host Madison Bumgarner. And in the second matchup of this game at 7:05, Joan Adon for the Nationals is going to host Tyler Gilbert of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The second doubleheader will be in Queens as the New York Mets are going to host the San Francisco Giants. Both of these teams with 7 wins so far, both very hot teams in the National League. The Mets are going to come out led by Tyler McGill, who is now 2-0 and still has yet to allow an earned run. The Giants are going to be led out in their first game by Alex Cobb. In the second matchup, that's going to be taking place at 7:40, the Mets are going to be led out by their goated starting pitcher Max Scherzer, who is holding a 2.0 ERA or a 2-0 record and a 3.27 ERA. The second doubleheader for the Giants is going to be led by Logan Webb. He enters this matchup with a 1-0 record, holding a 1.29 ERA. Taking a look at what's going on outside of the prime time or outside of the double headers, the lone primetime game is going to be on TBS as the LA Dodgers, led by their elite starting pitcher Walker Buehler, who holds a 1-0 record and a 3.38 ERA, are going to host the 5-7 defending champs Atlanta Braves, led out by their starting pitcher from Los Angeles, Max Fried. Max Fried enters his matchup with an 0-2 record, holding a 5.73 ERA. This matchup is going to be on TBS, and it should be the last game to get started today. Looking at the games that aren't going to be either double headers or prime time, At 6:10 on ESPN Plus, the Cleveland Guardians, led by their elite starting pitcher Shane Bieber, are going to host the Chicago White Sox, led out by their former Cy Young winner Dallas Keuchel. Shane Bieber enters his matchup with not having won a win or a loss yet, and he holds a 2.70 ERA. At 6:40, Tyler Alexander and the Detroit Tigers are going to host the New York Yankees, led out by their elite starting pitcher Garrett Cole. Cole has yet to register a win or a loss this season, as he holds a 5.59 ERA at the moment. At the same time, at 6:40, Jesus Luzardo and the Miami Marlins are going to host Adam Wainwright and the St. Louis Cardinals. At 7:10, Nathan Eovaldi and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Yusei Kikuchi and the Toronto Blue Jays, as the Blue Jays sit on top of the American League East. At 7:40, Corbin Burns, the Milwaukee Brewers former All-Star, is going to host JT Brubaker and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Corbin Burns has yet to record a win or a loss this year, as he holds a 2.25 ERA. At 7:40, Justin Steele and the Chicago Cubs are going to host Matt Weisler and the Tampa Bay Rays, as both of these pitchers are sporting sub-2 ERAs. At 8:10, Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros are going to host Patrick Sandoval and the Los Angeles Angels. At 8:10 at the same time, Carlos Hernandez and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Chris Archer and the Minnesota Twins. At the same time, or not 30 minutes later, at 8:40, Kyle Freeland and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Kyle Gibson and the Philadelphia Phillies. At 9:40, Cole Irvin and the Oakland A's are going to host the Baltimore Orioles. At 9:40, at the same time, Joe Musgrove and the San Diego Padres are going to host Reaver San Martin and the Cincinnati Reds. And then at 9:40, the Seattle Mariners, led by their elite starting pitcher Robbie Ray, last year's American Cy Young winner, are going to be hosting John Gray and the Texas Rangers. Robbie Ray enters his matchup with a 1-1 record, as he holds a 4.73 ERA at the moment. So that is what's happening with baseball. Taking a look at what's going on with soccer scores, as because there's no international soccer this week, there is a good amount of domestic soccer, as teams are still trying to catch up within their schedules. Starting first in Spain, Barcelona would actually fall short to Cádiz, as Cádiz's lone goal will come in the 48th minute from Lucas Perez. With this win, Cádiz is currently sitting with the 16th best record in Spain, as they're really trying their hardest to avoid relegation. With this loss, Barcelona sits even with Sevilla and Atletico Madrid for second place behind Real Madrid. And consider it, with this loss, Real Madrid could be one win away from clinching La Liga. And they still have one less game played than Sevilla and Atletico Madrid. So Barcelona still has a good chance. They still have an advantage to at least run away with the runner-up in La Liga from here on out. Taking a look at what happened in Italy, Napoli would end up drawing with AS Roma, as Napoli's lone goal came from Lorenzo Insigne. Roma's lone goal came from Stefan El Shaarawy in the second half, after one of their players ended up getting a red card. With this draw, Napoli is sitting third in Italy, as they sit 2 points behind second place Inter, with one more game played than Inter. With this draw, Roma sits 5 points behind fourth place Juve for a Champions League spot. This was the opportunity for either one of them to really kind of make a move and jump in front of the team in front of them. But at this moment, Napoli is safe in terms of Champions League, and they have moved themselves at least more than one game away from Juventus, with 5 games left in their schedule. So that's what Italy is looking like, though. That was the really big game from yesterday. Taking a look at what's going on today, starting off in the English Premier League, Liverpool's going to host Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo's going to be missing this game because of family news. And looking at how this matchup is going to line up, Liverpool is holding the second best record in the Prem, as they sit only 1 point behind Man City. This is a must-win situation for them. And Man U, already knowing they're going to be down Cristiano Ronaldo, are going to be put in a very tough spot. They sit 3 points behind fourth place Tottenham. Alongside Arsenal, they sit 2 points ahead of seventh place West Ham. But Manchester United, that is currently where both these teams are sitting, as Manchester United is still a team that is trying to crack within Champions League contention, as they have only 6 games within their schedule, as this is one of the 6 games left, as this is a very big test ahead of them, being Liverpool. Taking a look at what is going on the European just subcontinent. The only other game outside of that is going to be the Italian Coppa Italia second leg matchup of the semifinals of the Milan Derby, as Inter Milan is going to host AC Milan. This aggregate is currently tied at 0-0. And then, of course, outside of that, we are going to see the German DFB Pokal semifinals as Hamburg is playing Freiburg. But since the big German clubs have already been eliminated from the German Cup, I guess it isn't as big news as it really should be. But with that said, that is everything that I have for you for today, Tuesday, August 19th, 2022, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. And I do want to, once again, thank everyone for listening. I want to thank the ESPN, NBA, MLB, and FIFA websites. And I do want to thank everyone for listening. I do apologize for all the names that I butchered. I eventually plan on getting them right. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Wednesday, April 20th, 2020. And until then, I want to thank everyone for listening. And I will catch you with more tomorrow. Thanks for listening to this piece. This is the Elite. I'm James Sims, and I'll catch you with more after this. Thanks for listening to my piece. Peace out.